Hey there, Josh here from Limbo CMMS. In this video, we'll be going over work order management and how to create a great work order. This is going to help you streamline your maintenance operations, whether you're running a facility or maybe a smaller type of operation. And what it also enable you to do is better understand how to work with technicians, engineers, and different types of maintenance staff, so everybody's on the same page of what those work orders need to look like and how people are taking care of them. So let's go ahead and dive right in so we can get a better understanding of just how you can streamline your maintenance operations. When we look at the anatomy of a work order, what happens is when you're managing multiple assets, you can expect to deal with maintenance activities often. It's just how it is. If an AC breaks down, for example, facility managers need to create a maintenance task, describe what needs to be done, assign to a specific technician, and place a due date. When you do all of that, you are basically creating a work order. And it's important to understand the purpose of a work order. With a structured work order management process, maintenance managers, they should be able to ensure the maintenance work will be completed on time. They should be able to standardize the maintenance workflow, have a simple way to schedule and assign maintenance work, document resources spent on maintenance, including labor, material, and parts, and track maintenance performance. So when we think of that, we think of things like maintenance compliance, the percentage of planned versus preventive work, costs associated with performed work, and so on and so forth. Now, here are the different types of work orders. Work orders can be classified based on three aspects. We have the nature of the problem to be addressed. So an unplanned work order such as AC failure, for example, or planned work order, preventive maintenance work that is scheduled months in advance. And then we have where the work request is coming from. So is it an internal work order? So the work request comes from someone inside the organization. Or is it an external work order where the work request comes from someone outside your organization? And then we have how the work order is scheduled. A manual work order, which is scheduled by hand, often by a maintenance manager after receiving and reviewing a work request, or an automatic work order, which is scheduled through a CMMS solution like Limbo, and based on your calendar or based on data coming from condition monitoring sensors installed on the equipment, which is super cool if you can be able to do stuff like that. And then you get into what is called predictive maintenance, being able to know something's about to go wrong before it goes wrong. So what should you include on your work order? Every work order has at least 8 parts. That might sound like a lot of items to include, but it is important that you have all these items so when people go and do data analysis and they can understand what assets are performing better than other assets, it will give them that ability. So the more data, the better. And these 8 characteristics include who requested and approved the work order. This is especially important. And if you have a big maintenance team, it's even more important. This enables technicians to follow up directly with the person who submitted the work order request form. And then we have service description. If we are talking about a simple task, then a single sentence summary can do. For more complex work assignments, you might have to write a maintenance checklist. And then we have asset location ID. When you have a bigger facility or manage multiple locations, fix a pipe on the first floor does not narrow things down enough. So the exact location or serial number of the asset must be included in the work order. Modern systems like Limbo allow technicians to scan a barcode with their smartphones to quickly check if they're looking at the right asset and automatically load maintenance history and data for that asset. And then we have number 4, who is assigned to perform the service. This part is self-explanatory. Every work order should be assigned to a specific person or to a group, like morning shift, for example, to ensure the work actually gets done. And we have due date. Technicians often have multiple work orders to handle, so assigning due dates helps maintenance managers ensure they won't end up with a big deferred maintenance backlog. Also, adding due dates to work orders automatically populates the calendar with tasks, which helps with visualization and accountability. Next, we have priority level, the ability to assign priority usually on some sort of scale. So let's say like 1 through 5 to a work order helps technicians decide which work needs to be done first. And this is especially important in emergency situations when you need all hands on deck and you need to know what needs to be done first. And if you don't do the most important things first, then you can end up in a lot of trouble and maybe your facility even shuts down. So you need to be very careful and set your priority levels. And then number 7, list of materials and spare parts. Including the list of materials and spare parts that a technician will likely need to use when performing the service lowers the chance that they will have to go back to the storage room or the office in the middle of a repair. You can imagine how much cumulative time it saves, especially in large facilities or when the service is being performed in a completely different location. When using CMMS, the system forecasts future demand for specific parts based on previous work orders, which makes the process simpler for the manager requesting the work order. And then we have completion notes. This part of the work order is meant for technicians to mark anything of importance that might be relevant for future work on the asset. This includes notes related to the cause of failure, how they noticed additional problems that should be addressed in the future, and how they had to take some extra steps, and so on. Now let's take a look at the work order management process in terms of steps. It has three main parties involved. So we have the work requester, which usually is a machine operator or other employee, the work approver, which usually a maintenance manager, senior technician, or supervisor, and the work performer, which is a technician. The process starts with a machine operator or other employee who finds an issue with an asset. And the first step happens. Maintenance work requests are submitted. And for organizations leveraging a CMMS, employees can use their smartphones to access the work request portal and submit the work request. If not, that happens through an email or a phone call. So this process makes it a lot easier. And then work requests go through maintenance managers or technicians, supervisors' approval. Not every work request results in a work order. Sometimes the service to be performed on the work request is not under the maintenance team's jurisdiction, or sometimes the material necessary to perform the service is not available at the moment. If the work request is not approved, a notification goes back to the machine operator or employee who requested. And if approved, a work order is created by the maintenance manager. This involves the parts we covered on the last slide. And then step number 4. The assigned technician receives a work order and gets to work. When a maintenance manager or supervisor creates a work order, the technician assigned automatically receives a push notification and an email. So depending on the urgency of the service, they can start working on it right away. Or the maintenance task goes to the technician's calendar. And for the last step, the work order is completed and closed by the technician. And once the work is completed, then the technician needs to enter some information in the software, such as how much time was spent performing the work, which spare parts and material were used, pictures, completion comments, if there's anything of importance to note. Then once they click the complete button, the system will automatically update the equipment maintenance log of the corresponding asset. And here we have a CMS for work order management. So if you are looking to streamline your work order management, you definitely need a CMS. Some of the features that help streamline the process include a mobile work request portal that enables every authorized person to quickly submit a work request through a simple form on their phones, instead of interrupting managers and technicians with phone calls. And then automatic push notifications. And that can be configured to as many or as little notifications as your team needs in order to encourage them to get work done. And then we have easy to use calendar, which allows managers to view all open work orders and upcoming PM schedules, which makes it easy to estimate workloads of different technicians and shifts. And we have automatic task creation. Modern CMS solutions have predictive maintenance capabilities, which means that you can connect the software with condition monitoring sensors and set up rules for automatic task creation based on incoming data. And we have task priority levels. Being able to set this up is key to help technicians manage their workload and ensure everything will be done on time. And data tracking and reporting. Without CMS, it becomes almost impossible to properly store and retrieve data when necessary. Reporting features make it possible to understand important metrics such as how much is being spent on each asset, maintenance, and why. And there we have it. I hope that this video helped you in understanding what goes into work order management workflow, who is involved in the process, and what must be included in a work order. If you think your organization might benefit from Limbo CMS to streamline your work order management, you can start a free 30-day trial with us. You can even request a demo. We can show you through the product. And if you're not quite ready to try Limbo and just want to ask questions about your maintenance needs, then feel free to reach out to us via our website as well. And looking forward to seeing how you implement a streamlined work order management process for your facility, and excited for you to be on that journey.